Hello, today we're going to look at solving some equations where we have variables on both sides of the equation. On the right in purple, you're going to see some reminders, just some look-fors before you start to solve. First of all, can I combine any like terms? If I look at the left side of the equation, is there anything I can combine? Or if I look at the right side of the equation, is there anything I can combine? Sometimes you won't have things to combine. The second thing is to move variables to one side of the equation. All of our examples today have variables on both sides, so we will be moving them to one side or the other. And then we're going to simplify and solve these equations just like we would any other two-step equation. So these first two steps will get us to that point where it's just like solving a two-step equation. So remember, when we talk about solving equations, we're talking about both sides of the equal sign when we're balancing things. So the first thing is I don't see any terms that I can combine, but I do have variables on both sides. So I'm going to do a plus 10x so that I can move that over here with this minus 9x. When I do that, I'm left with 6. This part right here cancels out because negative 10x and plus 10x make 0. It's gone. Equals negative 9x plus 10x. Well, negative 9 plus 10 is 1, so I would have 1x or just x. That's what x equals 6. And we're done with that example. Let's go to another one. In this one here, again, I look to see, do I have anything on the left side of the equation that I can combine or on the right side of the equation that I can combine? And I don't, so I have to start by moving the variables. Now, it doesn't matter in this problem whether you do plus 5y and move it to the right or do plus 9y and move it to the left. It will work both ways. I'm going to do plus 9y to both sides. And the reason I'm doing that is it will make my coefficient to y positive. So when I simplify this, I'm going to bring down my negative 10. It hasn't changed. Negative 5y plus 9y is going to give me a positive 4y. Then I have my equals. Over here on the right side, these canceled out because negative 9y plus 9y makes 0. And I have 6 left over. So now I'm down to a two-step equation, and the whole object of the game is to get y by itself. So I'm going to start by doing plus 10 to both sides. That plus 10 will cause that minus 10 to cancel out. I'm left with 4y equals 16. My last step is to divide both sides by 4. That will cause those 4's to cancel out, and I'm left with y equals 4. All right, moving on to another example. All right, again, I start off and I look and I say, is there anything that I can combine like terms to simplify this a little bit? I don't have anything on either side to combine, so I'm going to start by moving my variables to one side of the equation. I'm going to take this minus 20a and I'm going to do plus 20a to both sides. I did that so that I would already had the negative 19a on the left side and there was nothing else with it, so I just figured I'd move the 20 over there with it. When I do that, negative 19a plus 20a leaves me with just a. Over on the right side of the equation, the negative 20 and positive 20 canceled out, so I'm left with a equals negative 17. One more example to go through. Now this example is a little bit more complicated. I've got decimals to start off with, but I also have an opportunity to combine some like terms. So again, always remember that when we're balancing things on the equation. But when you combine like terms, you're not doing something to both sides of the equation. You're just simplifying either the left or the right. So I'm going to change my highlight color here to yellow. I noticed that this negative 16.16 and this minus 12.93 can be combined. They both are constants, so I'm going to put those together. And if I take those two and I add them together, I get negative 29.09. Okay, so on the left side of the equation, it's still the same. Negative 1.79 plus 18.2n equals. I've combined these two things that were highlighted in yellow, and then I still have this plus 15.2n behind it. So the first step was just combining those like terms. Now I'm going to move my variables to the same side of the equation. So in order to do that, I'm going to do minus 15.2n and minus 15.2n. And that's going to move those both to the left side. That will cause these to cancel out. I'm going to be left with negative 1.79. Well, let's see, 18.2n minus 15.2n is going to be a positive 3n equals negative 29.09. All right, great. So now I'm down to solving a two-step equation. I'm going to add this 1.79 to both sides. That will cause it to cancel out on the left because that'll make 0. So I have 3n equals, and if I take negative 29.09 and positive 1.79, I get negative 27.3. I divide both sides by 3. That will cause those 3's to cancel out, and I'm left with n equals negative 9.1.